What was what did you see in her kind of that made you kind of shift this album towards her?
Well, I mean, just seeing her in hospital every day for months on end, you know, and having to have all these tests and you know, being prodded and poked about with instruments and you know, she suffers with anxiety as well. So the whole thing was really, it took its toll on both of us, you know. What was the question?
Well, kind of what made you go for with kind of tilting the album towards and
Oh yeah, because I just had so much respect for her afterwards. You know, the fact that she came through it and she was able to keep her anxiety under control and she even though she was 40 and we were told, well, we don't know how the baby's going to turn out and it's difficult because she's got one kidney, and I just felt like she was amazing. I just felt so, I was in awe of her as a mum to come through it and to bring into the world another beautiful girl for me was just totally unexpected. I didn't think we were going to have another kid. And just, yeah, and she wasn't feeling, you know, she wasn't feeling great at that time after the kid, after the birth. She was down and sort of, I'm 40 and I haven't done anything with my life. And I was like, what are you on about? I was like, you're my hero. I was like, you're my partner in crime. Like, you're fucking awesome. And I just wanted to write, it made me feel sad that she felt that way about herself. So I just thought, right, I'm going to write you a song that tells you how fucking good you are, that makes me feel good when I sing it, and something that she could sing to herself, like in the shower, or, you know, she could put it on and sing, don't underestimate your power, you're stronger than you know. I just thought, yeah, that's a good message to have in a song for anybody who's feeling down, or even if you're just a woman and you're feeling like you're aging and you're not as young as you used to be. And I wanted to have that line about, you know, it's not the same as it was when you were 17, but fuck it, you're a woman now. You're stronger than you've ever been. I just thought it was a good way of saying that you're awesome and you're as good as you're ever going to be, you know. Yeah.
there's a line in Bruce Springsteen that kind of reminds me of this, and I know you like a bit of Bruce as well, but there's a line in Thunder Road where he goes, "You ain't a broody, but hey, you're all right," and I love that
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
I
right,
love it
yeah.
because that's kind of
Yeah, it's
not,
quite similar, yeah, in the way, yeah, I see
but the
what you mean.
feeling, the kind of the
Yeah,
sentiment, but like you're
yeah. A
just
bit
fine the way
ragged,
you.
but great.
No, but you're
A bit,
fine the way you are.
yeah,
That's kind
exactly,
of the
yeah.
message, and
Yeah, yeah.
and so I just wanted to
No, I
throw
like,
that
yeah,
out
that's a good point. That's good. I didn't realise that sort of lyric was in that song, but yeah, I think I've heard it before. I think now you've mentioned it. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't thinking of that, but I like. Yeah, it does tie in. It's a similar
there.
theme.
And then the sound, of course, we have to get into the sound because you talk about that empowerment, and if we go back to kind of the soul music
Yeah,
that you are very much influenced
yeah,
by, that has that very
yeah,
optimistic,
yeah,
even though it can be
yeah,
difficult subjects they
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about,
yeah.
the very
It's
optimistic.
positive. You know, you can sing the saddest song in a soul format, and it still sounds empowering. You know, I think that's where soul music comes from, though. It's born out of a sadness of a situation, and you wanting to or having to do something about it. And that's all my favourite music, all my favourite singers are singing from a place where they've had their heart broken, or something's, you know, not right, and they're trying to make it better, or I don't know. I've always tried to be positive though with my songs, whether it's the sound or the resolve of the lyric, or, you know, maybe when I was younger, I probably resolved it too much, you know, because I needed it. I'd had so much like negative stuff in my life that the songs were a way of me to romanticize about life and how I wanted it to be. And I suppose that's probably why I've come off as a romantic ballad guy. Whereas when I started out, I wanted to be a blues, rock, soul, R&B singer. And I tried to avoid the obvious in the beginning because everyone was like, oh, you can't do that. It's been done. You've got to do it like a pop version. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. I did it. I gave it a go, and I wrote "You Give Me" and "Wonderful World" and all those songs, and then it just went mad. And then I was kind of trapped in this lane of like, oh, I'm a romantic singer-songwriter, and they were just like, do that again, do that thing again. And me being insecure, I just wanted to please everyone. And you know, the label, I've got to say, the labels have all been good. They are labels, they're businesses at the end of the day, but they did support me and they did try and help me get the record that I wanted. And I suppose I was just young and I didn't know how to get what I wanted. But whereas this album, everything I've been through as an artist, as a person, it all sort of came together at this point and allowed me to have some retrospect on what I wanted to get and what I wanted to sound like. And I had time to be able to write the songs and, just collect them over a period of time. And then I record, and as soon as I had the songs, I just recorded it really quickly in a week. And I think that's why I like it, because it's rough, but it's thought out, but it's rough as well. And I like the mix of like the songs having preparation, but the recording being, some of the songs that I sang on the album were the first, the takes that are on the album are some of the sort of first times that I sang the songs, or I hadn't oversung the songs. I'd lived with the demos for a long time, so I knew them well, but I hadn't sort of sang them. So there was a freshness about me going into the studio and singing it live with a band, rather than going into the studio and sort of piecing it all together over weeks after weeks and sort of making it more like a studio album. I wanted to make it more like the live gigs.
Kind of a certain immediacy to it.
Yeah, and there is a few rough bits in there. That if I listen, now I've been playing it live for a few weeks, I'm like, oh, I would have done that slightly differently. But that's the beauty of recording live, and sort of, if you can't live at every moment, like, oh, if I knew that yesterday, I would have done it differently. I think once it's done, it's done.
Right.
And I like the fact that I've got room to be able to get better on the tour and improve on the sound and, and just get better as we keep going.
And you said about this album as well, this is the album I've always wanted to make, in terms of kind of the direction it's taking. And kind of with what you mentioned just now, when you were let go from your record label, obviously that isn't fun.
No.
Was there a point where it turned around into a sense of freedom in a way?
It didn't take long either.
Okay.
It really didn't. When I first found out I got dropped, I was devastated. It was like the worst moment that I'd been trying to avoid in my head. That's where all the nerves and the pressure and all that stuff came from. Not wanting to lose the best opportunity I've ever been given in my whole life. I was so poor, we had nothing. I was never good at anything. So to do something with music for a living was my dream. And I was so scared of losing it and fucking it up that I almost fucked it up because of the worry of fucking it up. And it had to happen like that for me to get to this point. And, they dropped me, and I realised I wasn't doing it for anyone. I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for them. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, and I'm spending time away from my kids, and I'm travelling, and I'm sacrificing my time with my family and stuff, I want to do it on my rules, and I want to do it the way I want to do it. So it gave me a kick up the arse to go, right, let's just I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm lucky that I had a good team of people around me, a producer, an A&R guy from my first album, Colin, and Brian, who was able to put a label together and just go, let's just put your album out. Let's do a recording and put it out. And it's exactly what we've done. And it's already better because of it. It's a nicer feeling to know that I've just done what I wanted to do, and it's getting good response, People are reacting to what I'm feeling about it, I've played some of the new songs once, and no one's ever heard it before. I started off in the intro just playing the 2 chords in the intro, and they were just like, yeah, woo, like, yeah. And I was like, oh, all right. So it just feels a bit more like I've had to earn it. I've had to go through that process to get to this point. And I think that's why I'm so grateful for everything that's happened in my life. My childhood, my being dropped, having a difficult pregnancy, not me, but my girlfriend, and all of that stuff has just has just helped me appreciate everything I've got and to be able to enjoy it in the way that I've always wanted to enjoy it, with a freedom of expression and no fear, and yeah, it's just better. It's good. I'm in a good place right now.
It's very good to hear. So one last thing I wanted to talk about then, which is the final song of the album, "Until the Stars Go Out," because I like how you then try to instill this message of positivity into your daughter.
Yeah.
So how did that song? Was it an easy one to write?
It was emotional writing that. It was emotional, but because it's got such a big chorus and sort of, you know, I don't know, it almost reminded me of like a, I don't want to say Disney. It's too Disney's too cheesy, but it's like a film song or something. I always pictured it like it being a film or something. But yeah, when I was writing it, I mean, I really like the lyrics in that song. They really they're sort of quite good lyrics for me. And when I recorded it, I did feel quite emotional listening to it, because I knew it was about my daughter, and I thought about if I die and I'm gone, and she's feeling lonely, she can put that song on, and I'll be there with her. You know, I thought it was a cool way of like being there for her if I'm away on tour or you know, any of that stuff. She can put it on and sort of feel like I'm there with her, and to sort of give her encouragement to be, you know, not like me. Don't be insecure. Don't let other people tell you what you can and can't do. And yeah, she was getting a lot of stick at school basically because she was my daughter, and they're saying, "You're never going to be a singer like your dad," and all this stuff. And they were not teasing her, but you know, not every day, but just this one particular day she came out upset, and it just really pissed me off that she was having to go through that, because I love her and she's an awesome little kid, you know. And even though she's my own kid, if she wasn't up to scratch, I'd be on her. But she's a great kid, and it just upset me that they weren't seeing how amazing she was. But I think she's going to be a singer. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty certain she's gonna be way better than me, and she's like my little protege.
Okay.
I think she's going to be a really great artist.
Well, I was going to ask you, what does she think of what you do? So
She loves it. She absolutely loves it. Like yesterday, I was doing The Voice, and Ava Max was there, who sings that, "Oh, she's sweet but a psycho a little bit." And my little girl, she absolutely loves that song. She loves all the poppy stuff. And I said, "Oh, guess who I met earlier?" And she's like, "Who?" And I was like, "Ava Max." And she's like, "Dad, that's so cool." She's like, "You're so cool." And so I got a picture with her. And yeah, just stuff like that is, you know, to be brought up in an environment where you can believe easily that your dreams can come true and you can do something you love for a living, and it's 100% possible, is the opposite of what I was brought up in. So, you know, not that my parents didn't encourage me or anything like that, but I just didn't think it was possible. You know, we were so poor, we didn't have a lot. You know, I didn't get my first guitar until I was like, properly, until I was 13, you know.
And it was a different time back then. I mean,
totally different.
The options, and then I even noticed this in myself, the options I have were a lot better than my parents have. And
of course, each generation get it easier in a way. Easier but harder in another way, you know. The Instagram, the social media stuff, that's a head wrecker for kids. You know, growing up in that environment where you've got to be constantly online and represent yourself, and people can bully you online, and it's a scary world to be in, I think. But you know, I think that's why I'm trying to ground her in a sense of reality that she can be strong in, and sort of, which is just knowing who you are, what you're capable of, having confidence in yourself, and all of that stuff. You know, and I think me doing what I'm doing is allowing her to see an example of how to do that. So yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Sounds great. James, thank you very much for your time. Always a pleasure.
Pretty deep, but
thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.